Next is from our boy Gareth Meldon. Subject is Dave, shut it. I remember an old episode of Something to Wrestle with in which Bruce Pritchard's. I remember an old episode of Something to Wrestle with in which Bruce Pritchard's. Why is this a tongue twister? I remember an old episode of Something to Wrestle with in which Bruce Pritchard stated that Jim Ross used to cheerlead for certain wrestlers so much that it would not only cause a backlash behind the scenes, but it then, in a weird way, had people wishing for the talent to flop simply so that it would make Ross look bad. Which is why I'm asking you guys about Dave Meltzer. Do you think his endless defensive ranting and shilling for Kenny Omega has actually hurt the guy? From all reports, Kenny Omega is a great guy. No stories about him bullying people backstage. No stories about him refusing to put people over. No stories about getting into legal drama behind the scenes. Kenny Omega is just a good guy. You mentioned his name online. So many people come out burying him. Do you think that Dave Meltzer is a reason for the hatred? Do you think there's more to it? P.S. Konnan, considering that the WWE 2K26 is in production right now, do you know if AAA guys or venues will be in it, or is that something you can't really talk about and it just wasted your time?
To tell you the truth, I know nothing about that. I don't play video games, therefore I don't really give, obviously if they said I was in one, I'd be interested, but I've never asked about a video game and I doubt I ever will. But what was the question?
There's probably tons of things you don't know yet about them. We're still early in this relationship. Like with the video, like you're just trying to produce good weekly TV at this point. Just so that's yeah.
Well, there has been reports
and do good enough that they'll do another show, you know.
Right.
There has been reports, probably just speculation, that Konnan has a Legends deal coming up, and when he signs it, that's when you'll see him in video games and new toys and stuff. So people are pretty excited to see that stuff if it does come to pass.
Back to the Kenny Omega question. He absolutely gets heat because of Dave Meltzer's endorsement, because Dave's been very polarizing. But and Kenny Omega,
what do you think happened, Disco? Obviously, not everybody respected him, but he kind of went to a respected guy to, for whatever reason, in the last 2 years, I would say, maybe more. Like there's been this tirade against Dave. What do you think happened?
It's the AEW cheerleading.
Yeah, in the face of the facts and the data, his constantly putting over. I think this is what people have got to get upset about Dave. Is I think Dave in that wrestling community want more credit being given to the fact that they think that the wrestling is the best over there. So like they take into account the cage match ratings, Meltzer star ratings for the matches, and they're ignoring the obvious downturn in business that the company has had, and Dave is still like praising them just because they got the rights deal. It's like, dude, your attendance is like year over year is just like gone down every year, and people like but he'll talk about how successful they're doing. I think people are like, how can you talk about how successful they're doing? And like, there's another company compared against that's blowing you guys away in all the metrics, and you started 5 years ago, like after 1 year you were close to them in the ratings. Now they just pulled away and it's not even a competition anymore. And during this whole period of time, you're talking about how great AEW is doing. We're going like, what? It's like the funniest thing is like Tony Khan after each show, right? Tweets, I thought it was a great show. And he's done that like 300. How many years have they been on, Joe? Like 6 years now? Let's just coming on 6 years, right?
Yeah.
And he's been tweeting that every single time. Okay. And there's always this thing like they're doing a great show. Then all of a sudden it's like saying, AEW's having a resurgence. It's like, well, wait, what resurgence? You guys have been saying this great for so long. It's like, oh, you literally were not talking about how poorly they were doing. You were just calling everything great, and now we're in a resurgence because things were not as great as you said they were. It's just they're like being dishonest with their narratives here, like typical media. I think that's the thing. I think Dave gets heat because like over the past like 10, when Trump started and called the media the enemy of the people, he's media. And he's the main media guy. So they're just going to get the heat just like all the other ones, dude. And the rest of media is the worst. Collectively, they get stories wrong so many times, and it's like you're hard pressed to get a correction, So do you think that has something to do with it, Konnan?
Yeah, I think a little bit of everything that you said. Joe saying the AEW cheerleading in spite of the facts, and, same thing that you say, basically. And it's just weird to me because when I first started reading him, you really didn't hear anybody disrespecting him. But then again, there wasn't social media.
Right. He didn't have competition either.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when I
It was
was
just Wade, Shearer. There was just like a handful of guys, you know.
Right.
Now Sapp came on the scene with that Fifel thing, and they're like doing all these big numbers, but they don't really go after Dave.
No.
You know what I'm saying? It's kind of true because they get the heat too. So Sapp's crew gets the heat because they're media, you know.
Yeah.
So
Get in the game with the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Bet on the NFL, NBA, NHL, MLB, soccer, golf, MMA, and more. Every sport, every market, right at your fingertips. Deposit instantly with PayPal, Venmo, or Apple Pay, starting at just $10. Win big and cash out fast. PayPal in 24 hours or instantly at retail sportsbooks. Available in over 20 states, FanDuel's app is your ticket to the action. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app now.
all right, our boy Brian Dunlap's in the Mark mailbag for some reason. Says, should AEW have a brand split? Salutations, K100. Are you for or against AEW splitting Dynamite Collision into separate brands with their own distinct roster and identity? Each show has its own writers and booking committee. Let's say Dynamite gets Tony Khan, Brian Danielson, Will Washington, Jennifer Pepperman, Sanjay Dutt, and Dave Meltzer. Let's cut the middleman here. Cut out the middleman. Collision gets the Crash TV format with Russo, Ben, Shane McMahon, Dutch Mantell, my number 2 Jarrett Aviat, DI, Gail Kim, and Konnan. If Meltzer's WWE AAA prediction comes true, and TK checking in on us, which show would get the higher ratings? I think it'd be hilarious if Disco Inferno became the on-screen general manager of Collision. 2 paychecks, how about that? He could be a tyrant, make example out of Eddie Kingston, The Big Show, Paul White. Here's my other AEW hires. Hughesy's a spokesman for the launch of the AEW 900 number. The Wrestling Otaku is head of Jericho's personal security. And last but certainly not least, Ric Flair is head of HR. Woo! A redirect to first question. No. Yeah. Yeah, this is a bad idea, Brian Dunn. Actually, a brand split would work better for them, but Tony's not going to relinquish any booking, responsibilities to anybody but himself. But if you did the brand split, at least there would be more. You'd only have to watch that show.
Yeah, but it's another thing.
Like there wouldn't be something happen on something that was relevant to this, and that you didn't tell us what happened or anything, or to give us any packages or anything.
He tried the brand split when Punk was there. Punk's crew was on Collision. The other guys were on Dynamite,
Yeah, what happened to that, actually?
Punk got fired.
Yo, what's up? I just want to thank you guys for watching this clip. Don't forget to hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And join our YouTube membership for hours and hours of exclusive, unedited, uncensored content. And being a member will help you get involved in our upcoming live streams. Thank you for your support. Thank you for riding with us. I know you got a lot of other podcast choices, be it wrestling or other ones. And thank you for picking us. Boom.